Hello, everybody. Welcome to episode 47 of the Coffee Club podcast. This is going to be our biggest episode of all time because we have a couple of boys coming off some big performances at the Commonwealth Games. I don't even know where to start. Actually, no riffraff. We're just going to get straight into it. Obviously, George was in the 5K and he came sixth, which is amazing. But first off, we're going to talk about Oliver Hoare, the I don't even know. Did you pick up any new nicknames? Did the Australian media give you any new nicknames for winning gold or anything like that?
They kept like all these all these articles are coming out like at home, and it just says a legend is born.
That's what I saw. I saw that one,
Yeah,
and
one
it's
of those
fucking
Legion.
spectacular.
The Legion is born. But one of the great things was Brucey, the commentator for the Australian 7 News sports thing, bit of a ledge. He one of his comments, particularly when I was like the last 100, which we'll get into, but the best quote he had was during that commentary. He goes, "Hoare lifting here." Like that's been like spread a lot around, like Hoare lifting.
He
So
wasn't shying away from the
he wasn't
the
shying
whore
away from
bag
that.
69. But
Nah, bro.
yeah, it's just crazy. There was so much amazing media, and we're very happy to share it with all the Americans because, as we said the last time, you wouldn't really hear that much about the Comm Games, really, if you're just sitting in America. But I think for these races, because they were so spectacular, if you look at the 1500-meter field, it actually got a bit of hype, which is just awesome to see. It's what it deserved. Obviously, yeah, we're just going to go through the race a bit before the race and then all the crazy aftermath, because a massive deal in Australia, what Olli achieved in winning that race. And so there was a lot of media and stuff. So we'll get into all that. But the race itself this must be probably the best field of all time in a Comm Games 1500. I don't think that's controversial to say it all. And it'll be one of the best fields this year. Like comparing it to the World Champs final, it's not even that different, really.
We were just talking about that. That's got to be one of just the best 1500s ever, regardless of Commonwealth or not. Like one
Wasn't
of the deepest fields.
Eight people under 333 or something like that?
Yeah.
I think, yeah. So, like, I'm pretty sure
12 people under 336?
Yeah. 12. Well,
like
the whole
12th
field
place was 335 point.
The whole field ran under 336.
Yeah, so
which is pretty good for like any race, really.
Yeah, it's a championship race. It's crazy. It's not freaking Monaco Diamond League, where they're just set up to run like that. It's a championship race in Birmingham where people are going for medals. So before we get
in the middle of the day, breezy.
Yeah, it was a pretty wild race.
But yeah, Olli, you want to give us the big playthrough? Maybe we'll start off with like coming off the heats and stuff, because you won your heat pretty commanding. You were in a really good heat again, but obviously you won it and you looked really good. So how were you feeling after the heats and all that?
It's feeling pretty confident knowing that I actually made the final because of Worlds. That was the one thing that like I knew physically. I'm in great shape, and the mental game was much more tough now because after Worlds and after the disappointment, like you definitely doubt who you are as an athlete, which you shouldn't, because it shouldn't deter you from what you've done in your work, but it just happens. Like you can't prevent that mindset from creeping in sometimes. And I definitely felt like the heat at Comms was just a good confidence booster in itself to be like, okay, I qualified for the final. I felt pretty relaxed. I was in control of the race. Like I ran it smart. I didn't do anything ridiculous, and I didn't make any like mistakes. So that for me was like important. So going on to the final, I just felt like I'm into a final now. I can just, hopefully compete for medals, because like the field is incredible. You have, just to name off the attributes like of the guys, you have the Tokyo Olympic silver medalist, bronze medalist. You have the former 2019 world champion, Timmy Chariot. And then you have the current world champion, Jake Whiteman, as well as like a few other guys like Sam Tanner, some really, really talented boys in that field. So it was going to be like tough regardless. It was just to be treating it like a race, championship race, and trying to like, improve from what happened 2 weeks ago. And we really, actually, honestly, I had a phone call with Dathan. Dathan's like, it's not going to go fast. Like, there's no way the Kenyans are going to do the same thing as what they did at Worlds. Like, it's going to probably be pretty chill, and you're going to have to take it at some point and just make sure you save your legs for like the last 100, because that's where the race is won. Just make sure that
crazy.
You build it up. And so like the initial race plan was actually to like, if it was slow, was to take the lead at 500 to go and then just try and squeeze people out of it. Like what happened at Oslo was just to really like, when it starts to get fast, keep it going fast. And knowing that the last 100, like you do have the legs, if you're relaxed, you're comfortable and confident, and you're not wasting energy like getting around people. So that was actually the race plan, going into the race. And then the final happened, and the intensity of that race was like walking out, like particularly with the crowd. I think it was like 31,000 people, and they're all like, and it was like particularly for the morning session, it was the last event. It was the race that most people were like wanting to watch. You know, you have the world champion, he's a UK athlete. Pretty exciting, you know. The intensity there was pretty incredible. I definitely felt like it was more of like it definitely felt, because like Comm Games, we've definitely talked down a little bit. Like just comparing it to Worlds and to Olympics, it's like pretty, you know, it's not as high as those. Those are the pinnacles of our sport. And it felt like it was there now. Like it felt like a pretty pinnacle thing for me in that 15, which was a cool aspect of it. And then once the race got kicked off, I knew straight away it was going to be fast, because I saw Chariot and Kip saying like control the front, and I was like, okay, well, this is great for me, because I know from Oslo, like I have the fitness to be able to stay relaxed and confident at the front, and just stay out of trouble and conserve energy. So like that's pretty much what I tried to do.
That South African guy was perfect pacemaker, because he just took out the first 400, and then Chariot and Kip saying took over.
Elliot Giles went out too, and like he was like probably running it like an 800 guy, and not realizing that he's got an extra.
Dude, I wonder if that South African guy hadn't done that, if then the Kenyans would have taken over or not. Maybe it did all hinge on the South African runner, who, I mean, he ended up still running pretty well, but obviously he wasn't quite on
334 for 11.
Yeah.
And still got a PR.
But
he took it out in what's been a 54 or 55, right?
Yeah, it went out quick, and then it came around. Well, the one thing that I noticed, because sometimes when they take the lead and they'll slow it down, but when I went around, I was feeling really relaxed and actually pretty good, and it went through in 153 or something like that. I was like, oh, okay, yeah, this is going to be a really fast race.
I think
that's the same time. I think I think Worlds went out in the exact same time.
I think my last 300 was like a 40.8.
Yeah, you were the only person under 41.
Yeah. But then what I noticed is when I was running through, I was like, okay, I'm in the inside. I'm kind of boxed in. But the nice thing is like Timmy's in front of me. And I know Tim was like out for blood. Like he wanted to medal. He wanted to win. And then when I went through with a lap to go, I actually didn't panic. I was much more relaxed than the semi-final at Worlds. And I was like, okay, I can trust my training. I know I can close hard. I just got to make sure I find an opening at the right time. So when we got to the back straight, it was pretty windy, then going around the bend. And I'll never forget this moment for as long as I live. Jake Whiteman comes around the outside, same move that he did at Worlds. When he made that move, the crowd went absolutely nuts. Like the level of noise and rumble was nothing that I've like ever experienced. It was insane. He comes around the outside and takes the lead, and people are just losing it. So I was like, okay, I got to make a move soon, because if Jake gets like the jump on me, like he's got the race. That's what I was thinking initially. Kip saying like kind of is not letting me out. So I'm like, shit, I got to go into lane 3 with 100 to go. And then I just like ran as hard as I could, and I just had the legs. I was like, wow, like I can really like close hard here. And then I saw Tim starting to fade a little bit. Like I was like, oh, I'm in second. Like I definitely got second. And then I saw Tim to fade, and I was like, nah, I'm going to fucking win it. And then I just like ran through the line. And then I the emotions that I had was like, okay, I looked up at the board and I was waiting, because my name was there like first. And I was waiting it for like to drop down or stuff, because I didn't know where Jake was. So I was like only focused on Tim. And I didn't know if I actually had won it yet, because it was just kind of just a whirlwind kind of finish. And then I saw my name as number 1, and I just like dropped to my knees, and just a lot of emotion there, particularly because like it's been a hard couple of weeks for me emotionally with like Pop passing away, who's a big like, you know, big influence for my dad and I in the sport, but also like just world champs being the way it was, and how disappointed I was, and how like upsetting that was for me on how well I've been able to perform this year and not perform at like one of the most important meets. I was really doubting who I was as an athlete, but being able to come through with a win against a field like that just made me realize that like I do belong at that level. Because I was thinking like, I was questioning myself, like, am I even like a championship racer, or can I just go to Diamond Leagues and just run and like, and get top 2 or top 3? Like, can I actually like compete in championship races anymore? And that was like what it was. It was just like confirmation that I can do it. And yeah, it was very emotional. Crowd was loving it though. I was like sprinting around. I just ran 3:30 and I was like grabbing, like adrenaline was kicking in. I grabbed the flag and I'm just sprinting down.
I remember
just like throwing the, like just going nuts, and people were just loving it. And I was able to get photos with fans, a lot of Aussies out there. The best thing was like Scottish people who had like the Scottish flag tattooed on them, all like getting photos. And I was like, don't tell Jake they're getting photos of me. And they're like, no, it's cool. Like they're just like, the community there was just amazing. Like you can tell they love track, and it was a really exciting event. And particularly in Australia, it was primetime TV in Australia. So it just went bananas everywhere else. Cause like mostly, we're very big in the swimming. We're very big in like the hockey and like a lot of other those disciplines in like Comm Games, but we never win like middle distance medals. We're usually like, we really got really good field events and stuff like that, but rarely we win medals in that, let alone win. So that was crazy for Australia. So that was really exciting to be able to like show that to the Commonwealth, even though obviously it's not world champs, it's not the Olympics, but it's still pretty good. Like I definitely like was pretty excited about it. So.
Honestly, you couldn't have written it any better. Like the last few weeks, like as much as Eugene sucked, like people love a fucking redemption story.
Yeah.
People live for that.
Yeah.
Especially in like Australians, and how much we realized how much Australia and New Zealand care about the Commonwealth Games, as they should. Like we realized how special it was when we got there.
We definitely underrated
we probably underestimated that before we got there.
Yeah.
And I think we both realized before we raced even that, there was like a lot of support from our home countries,
which was sick.
And even, and after the race, like someone on the commentator was talking about how an Australian hadn't won it since Herb Elliott in 1962 or something.
Yeah. Was that 1958 in Cardiff, and it was a mile.
Wait, really?
So it wasn't even a 1500. Yeah,
I thought it was 62. Was it 50?
62? We won the Olympics.
That's fine. I thought it was 56. So
that's one of them.
No, somewhere around there. A long fucking time ago.
Well, let Citrus fact check that.
Yeah,
Citrus, long fucking time ago, and people still talk about like. You're going to be like Herb Elliott in 60 years. You know that, right? You know people are going to be talking about that in 60 years.
This is the crazy thing with Herb Elliott, though. Herb Elliott won the Commonwealth Games gold medal. He broke the world record twice. He won the Olympic gold medal, and he retired to go into business at 22 years of age.
Right, you're not quite there.
No, I'm not like Herb Elliott.
You can maybe do like a version of that.
He's a legend, but like to be able to like put myself next to his name in an event like that is like so special. So I definitely like appreciate that. And like the commentators, actually, I do give huge amount of respect and credit to the 7 News team. Like the commentators there were amazing. The way they covered that was the one thing with commentating. You want people to get involved that kind of like don't know much about track. They're watching it because it's Comm Games. They're not watching it because it's like track and field. The way they were commentating it was fantastic. Like they just made it like hyped up and talking about tactics and talking about like when they're going to make moves and like the chess pieces that come into middle distance running. It was pretty sick. So the whirlwind after it though was pretty crazy. I think I slept like 3 hours the past 3 days, just like doing a lot of media, breaking a Commonwealth Games record as well. The actual guy that had the record before from Tanzania, I can't remember.
That was that race that Ray always shows us between John Walker and.
He was there.
I can't remember his name. That was in New Zealand, I think.
Yeah, he was there, and he presented my medal, and he also gave me a book, and he signed it and everything. It's like, congratulations on breaking my record. He had the world record for like 20 years.
That's freaking sweet.
He was there, and he like gave me a big hug, and I've been waiting for this moment. He said like I've been waiting for someone to break the record at Comm Games. So, and it wasn't just me that broke it. I'm pretty sure 1 to
like
7,
people.
1 to 5 maybe or 6. Athletes went
5
under.
or 6 was under. I think it was 332 something.
Yeah, went under the Comm Games record.
But Tanner was 331 and 6. So that was incredible. You also like for perspective, like the 2 guys you chased down in the last 50 meters were like both 2 defending world champs.
Yeah,
like it's not like winning some random like dinky race at like neck eggs or something.
That's what the crazy thing has been with.
Like it's pretty much. Without Jakob and the Spaniards, it was like it's equivalent to the world final.
That's why
there's like a couple of people missing.
Yeah, I like the way that people have said like, "Oh, it was redemption for Olli," because yeah, there wasn't Jakob, there wasn't the Spanish guys, there wasn't like certain guys in there, but it kind of was redemption because I'm racing like it was
Definitely.
similar to a world championship kind of style race. So for me, that was redemption because I knew that like I could do it. But yeah, it was whirlwind like 3 days afterwards. Like I had all this media, all these people wanted to get photos of me. Morgan, there was a coffee club sign. I went around and these lovely girls had a sign. I gave them some stickers, signed the sign for them. So we had some big coffee club fans there, which was awesome.
That's so good.
I got a watch from
Longines or
Longines,
something.
the Josh Kerr sponsored watch. I got that, which was pretty sweet.
Are we gonna shout out? Is this where we call out Josh Kerr?
I wasn't there. Nah, he apparently he had COVID going into comms, so I don't know if that affected him or not in the race. But like, you know,
if you have that watch though, it means you have to train at 4:30.
Yeah, I know. I got to train at 4:30 in the morning now, which is going to be tough. Oh, actually, no, it'll be all right because I'm on like European time zone, so I'll be up anyway at that time. But no, it was great for the media, like particularly for my event and what we do, I guess, in our sport. It's just not very big in New Zealand and Australia, as Morgan probably knows too. Like swimming's pretty massive, but to be able to do that at prime time will hopefully like help people get more invested in athletics.
It's probably not as big as no one's won it since the damn 50s. That's the other thing I think over is that now that you've won it and you've had all this media for the last 2 days, people like you're gonna go to wherever the hell it is, like
it's in Victoria,
as defending champ in Australia.
I'll go to Australia.
You're gonna be defending champ for the next 4 years in Australia.
Yeah.
That's epic. That's so good.
Dude, imagine the call out like at the defending champ. That's pretty crazy. Actually, I had
you're gonna be the reason like the fucking stadium packs out. So no pressure.
Let's not get too far.
A legend is born. A legend is born.
The intensity is like it's been amazing. The craziest thing was the drug testing. Morgs, you'd be so proud of me for my final. After, like I got drug tested in my heat and my final, and my final I like did the drug testing like an hour. It was like really quick.
That's amazing.
For me anyway. Yeah.
We have to title this episode "A Legend Is Born."
It's actually an amazing title. Like, why would you not? Wait, do you have your medal there, Ollie?
I can go get it while you talk to George.
You'll have to show it.
It's pretty sick.
Yeah, can you show it, please?
I'll go get it.
We can talk some shit about you while you go get it.
Let's just talk about how while Ollie's gone, we can talk about how he just has a terrible diet still, and how he drinks a lot of Mountain Dew and plays so many video games. But
he drank so much soda there too. It was like because the dining rooms have like the fridges of just drinks, and there's just like unlimited Coke and Fanta and Sprite. He's just crushing like 2 sodas a day, I think.
That's amazing. But
it
works.
We both ate a lot of curry. Probably why he ran so well. Because like there's food from every region, but the curries are like the best. So we mostly just had curry every night.
That's a good way to do it. The curry is unbeaten. How
many sodas do you think you drank out of those fridges?
Oh, a lot. Let me get the mic.
I just realized I'm in the freaking dark now, so just apologies for that. I'm in the dark.
I noticed it a few minutes ago.
It is quickly approaching Morgan's bedtime, but show that off, Ollie.
Right, there's a show and tell, but also you need commentary for the people listening.
All right, so it's in a like cardboard box, and it's like got lines on it to like represent the canals because that's what Birmingham's known for. And then it's the same with the metal. The metal's like pretty heavy actually, but that's the
pretty.
Can you see that? So that's the metal.
But does it say Olli Hoare on it or anything?
Nah, it says Commonwealth Sport and Birmingham 2022. So there we go.
Gold medal.
They actually have like a little explanation. Like they explain, they have the medalists, the people that create the medal, like sign in the box, and they talk about like why they chose, like the inspiration onto why they chose like the design, which is pretty sweet.
Pretty dope. First medal was gold. Skip the other ones. Skip the shitty bronze and silver.
Yeah.
Fuck it. Gold only, baby.
I wonder how much B-dubs I can buy with this. Actually, probably not much in America. By selling it. Not in America, but maybe in like Europe or something.
It's probably like a thin gold plating.
I think
you'll have to take it to...
And sterling silver.
It's probably worth
if you're taking it to a Nando's, you could have got some good chicken for it, probably, if you'd gone to the local Birmingham Nando's and traded it.
Did you eat any Nando's?
No, I didn't. I was pretty
No
disappointed I didn't get
Nando's.
any Nando's. This is the box I got from Longines.
Just from Josh Kerr.
From Josh Kerr.
Just say it's from Josh.
So like if you broke the Commonwealth record, you got like a watch. Your dad actually, Morgan, messaged me about the watch because I wanted to know if it was any good. But if you can see here, it says Commonwealth Games record breaker, and it's just a nice fancy watch in there.
That's such a cool gift to get for that.
Yeah,
that's freaking sweet.
And then I have a little certificate and stuff. But that's pretty much
It's enough bragging.
That's enough. That's enough.
No,
I don't need any more stroking my ego. But in general, like for me, I think, and I talked to Ritz about it too, and I talked to Jordy a little bit when I got the chance. But the most important thing for me was like just being able to like realize that one race doesn't define who you are as an athlete. I think that was the one thing. Like I just after Worlds,
unless it's a really good race.
Yeah. After Worlds, I was really
Comm Games got medals, baby. Let's go.
Yeah. After Worlds, I was super disappointed, and like being able to have the opportunity and the second chance to bounce back in a similar field and compete the way that I thought I could was like very, very special. So that will be like a very big learning curve for me, like moving forward.
You'll let one race define you as long as it's this one.
Yeah. It's only this one. That's it. But
yeah, I mean it's a good point for sure. The way you bounce back when we were watching The Office together after the world champs and we were sad boys, I was like, this isn't good. It's tough, but you just got to go through those times and obviously you've had such consistent like amazing performance. So you haven't had, to be honest, many of those down times, but particularly in the last few weeks is when you experienced them right before the race at the toughest time and you came through them. And I think, I don't want to be all like cliched and corny and shit, but that is what defines champions. And I mean, it was amazing to see. I think this race, as George was saying before, it was just like the perfect storm pretty much. And I think even just generally, I think people for athletics at the Comm Games, this was like before it, probably the most anticipated race. Everyone there knew who was competing, and in particular, you had the home crowd favorites. You had like Whiteman. Everyone loves Josh Whiteman, and he was home crowd. Like
Jake
it was
Whiteman.
perfect
Josh
for him.
Whiteman.
Jake Whiteman. I was going to say both of them, but
that
was pretty good.
That just covers both of them. That's a coffee club visual right
Josh
there.
Whiteman.
Classic.
Josh Whiteman and Jake Kerr.
Yeah.
Josh Whiteman and Jake Kerr.
Yeah, the two legends. But yeah, so the crowd was going to be so invested in that race. And then I think also the way that you won it mattered a bit as well, because anyone watching that, it's spectacular. Like that's going to go in montages of like amazing race victories. Just that finish was amazing. I mean, you're literally running down Timothy Chariot, one of the best in the world, and he's been the best in the world for a while now, and he's so good, and you're running him down in the final stretch, and it was so amazing. Then I think anyone also watching your outburst of emotions after it is going to be pretty impacted by it, because obviously I know you pretty well, so watching that was pretty crazy for me, but in terms of like making me feel something, I don't
usually get emotional after races, so that was
good to see. Actually.
Yeah,
I was crying. My mom and dad were crying.
It's
it was
like
hard
you feel
couldn't
something.
not be.
Exactly.
It was hard not to hide it. I just couldn't. I just let it go, and I was
so
about like
so special. It's so special,
yeah.
and that's what I saw. A lot of people on the social media from Australia, they also felt that emotion. Like you didn't need to know your story really to feel the raw emotion that you were showing at that moment, and then to give credit to all the Australian media like you have already, then they did a great job at really filling in the story, given the context for why that was so amazing. And the Australian commentators actually knew a lot about athletics. And then I read the front page of the article that your dad posted, and it's weird because we know you so well, and so it's just we live every day with you. But then you see your story written out in newspaper form, and you're like, holy shit, like that's fucking amazing. And like we take it for granted probably, because we're around you with this excellence every day, but then you see it. You see, like you mentioned, with like your pop and bringing your father and you into athletics, and just it's. I mean, and that was in the Cronulla paper, so it's like you're probably the biggest celebrity in Cronulla since, I don't know. You can go hang out with the football player, the Sharks or something. I don't know. You
Hey,
must
that
be.
was the Sharks.
You're gonna have
Yeah.
to have like a homecoming. You're gonna have a parade in Cronulla, man. Like that's gonna be
Dude, they love that. They love that.
that's gonna be so sick. But yes, you had to push your flight back because originally you were gonna fly back to Boulder the next day. So what? The next day you had full media stuff. What was that like? Was that just the most? I imagine you didn't sleep much after the race, so you were probably pretty tired. But just running on adrenaline, was that just like crazy? Just going like from doing all this like different shit with like all the Australian news people and stuff. What was that like?
Yeah, it was pretty crazy. Like I went and spoke to multiple sections of Seven News. My parents actually got put on to Seven News as well. Like people like went to our driveway and got chalk, and they like wrote congratulations Ollie like on the driveway. They put flags up and everything. My parents went on the news, and then I was on multiple news sources. I went on like they called the Brummy, which was like they had this Seven News set up right in the Times Square where like everyone's like kind of congregated to watch some of the games. They have like these big screens to see like where you could watch it and stuff. And yeah, I was on that, and I was just like with like legends of like media in general, like people you used to watch grow up on the TV, and meeting them, and like they were shaking my hand saying like this is like an experience where I've never met you but you made me cry, kind of like they were telling me that sort of stuff. And it was very sweet, but they genuinely like loved being able to cover sport in general. Like they were very excited about Peter Ball, his 800 coming up, and like the swimming and the hockey and the netball. Like they just love what they do. So it was nice to actually see that side of it, because sometimes you don't know, like a journalist, like they really, like, is this a job for them, or do they really like love it and are passionate about it? And particularly the people that I saw when I was able to do the interviews at Seven loved what they did, and they were very excited to learn more. And Bruce, who did the commentary, he like gave me through like a history lesson of Herb Elliott, and like he actually put me, which is very very like very very high of him, but he put me in like one of the greatest performances he's ever commentated, because he's like gone back and what he's commentated, and that was very very sweet of him. But yeah, the media was nuts. I like went on 100 radio shows. I actually went down when I was watching Geordie's race. Like I did a lot of media during the day. I was going back and forth from the stadium, getting photos done and stuff. Wasn't eating properly. Like I just wasn't stopping to eat, or like I was just pretty much running off caffeine. But I was able to. I came back from Geordie's races because I had my medal presentation, which was cool because like I haven't heard the Australian national anthem for a very long time. So being able to stand up there and listen to it, and people like all stood up as well. That was cool.
Dude,
Went
even that
back.
was super emotional. I saw a video of it and you were crying, and then I started crying.
Oh, I wasn't.
You
I have
tearing
watery
up,
eyes.
tearing up,
But
tearing up.
no, there was something in my eye. But no, it was very very yeah, very special moment, because like particularly in that event, the last time the national anthem was played for that event in a major championships like that was 1958. So pretty cool and special moment. But yeah, I went back because I was obviously, when you've done something like that and people see you, they want to get photos and stuff like that. I actually went into the line because I wanted to get a beer to watch Geordie's race. I was going to get a Peroni. And these girls recognized me, and they're like, hey, I don't want to be that person, but can we get photos with you? I was like, yeah, sure. And then I was getting photos near the counter, and then I asked the lady on the counter, I was like, could I get this beer for free? Because I had the medal around my neck. And she's like, yeah, sorry, I can't do that. And I was like, damn it. I thought
What?
my medal would
Oh my
get
god.
free. It did not. But I got a beer, went up with Ritz and his kids. They were emotional the entire week. They were running off emotion just from like everything going on. But yeah, being able to watch Geordie's race in the stadium was packed. It was just like the emotion behind track around that time was just, yeah, I haven't really experienced anything like that, because I imagine Tokyo would have been something similar if COVID didn't exist. But they just did an amazing job. The Brits just, like, they love their athletics, and they just did such a good job hosting it and people getting involved. It was very special. So really really soaked it in.
Yeah, I think now it's probably a good segue into George's race. Um, Taking a
Let's do
slight
it.
step back with you, George. How are you feeling in the days leading up to this one? Because obviously, for you were coming off feeling a little bit flat at World Champs, so then it's like, shit, let's get the body feeling good for Comm Games. So after flying over to England and all that, did you start feeling pretty good, or how was that going?
I'm trying to remember. Were we feeling good when we were running? You keep telling me your legs were tired from walking so much.
My legs were tired from
the Australian dorms was right at the top of the hill. So every time we'd meet up to run or eat, Ollie would have to walk up and down this hill.
It's like fucking 10-15 minute walk. It was atrocious. But
and I didn't have to walk at all.
I think you felt solid. I think
we
were feeling fine, but we were just getting used to
I did one little workout in lane 4.
You said you felt all right in that workout.
I think it was all right. Yeah. It was honestly just nice because it was not hot. It's the main
the weather wasn't crazy.
Boulder and Eugene were both it's been the high 30s, 100 degrees, 90s, 100, and it was just low 20s or 70 degrees every day.
Yeah.
In Birmingham, it was pretty freaking nice.
I feel pretty good after that heat.
Yeah, I was feeling pretty good, and then just watching Ollie cruise through the heats was a nice reminder that you can still run well 2 weeks after something pretty below par, subpar.
You can bounce back.
Yeah. So I was pretty confident that there was still going to be something there, and I wasn't confident. I'll be honest. Probably both of us, confidence was pretty low.
I think for both of us describing it, it was the lowest it had been probably all season, because we both came off disappointing runs for us personally. So it was nice to be able to have it together, because we're kind of sharing that disappointment, but being able to be we got another opportunity here to hopefully improve, whether we improve how we race or our mindset going in. That was kind of the plan.
Yeah. I think what was nice is that I felt like I took kind of a bit of a mid-season reset after Eugene. I just spent a few days in Eugene, mountain biking and doing other non-running shit and hanging out with my family. And even when we got back here, mum and dad came to visit, and I was just going up into the mountains hiking and going out and having some beers and some wines and not really thinking about running that much. And that was kind of a nice transition into the kind of end of the season, and just not dwelling on Eugene and not overthinking it. So that helped, I think, kind of refreshed a little bit. And yeah, at the end of that, it's just running. So, and didn't have a heat.
True.
So straight final, that was nice. And it was beautiful
pretty nice
conditions.
Weather. Yeah.
It was windy every day, Ollie was saying for his, but it was 60 degrees probably, and at night. So it was beautiful. And yeah, I mean, I should have come fourth. I think that's probably a no-brainer.
Yeah.
From watching it and being in it. But like we said, confidence is pretty low. So it's hard to commit in those last few laps when the last couple of races is kind of where those are the laps where I felt like I was going to pass out in Eugene and not be able to finish the race. And that was a nice feeling in Birmingham, getting to it wasn't fast, but
it was back and forth though, right? The pace, watching it from it was moving around a lot. So you were doing a pretty good job of just staying in contention, but not doing too much movement.
Definitely. We knew it wasn't going to be super slow. There's 3 Kenyans and Kaplimo that had PRs 25 seconds faster than the rest of the field. They have to be pretty dumb to make it slow. They may as well make it honest, because it pretty much writes off the rest of the field. Which it seemed like they couldn't decide who was going to do it during the race. They'd get up next to each other and be all right, someone make this fast.
Someone keep going with it.
So they kind of did. I think we were 8 minutes at 3K, or I was 8:03, 8:04.
Yeah, it was around 8 minutes.
And that actually felt really comfortable, which was nice. That's a nice change.
That's a great feeling.
By the time we got to 3K in Eugene, I feel like I was getting blurry-eyed at the clock by that point, because I was so lightheaded and drained that I didn't even know what we ran. It was way slower than that though, probably 8:15 or something. And I was starting to feel like I was going to pass out. So getting to 8:00, and it was wow, this is feels pretty slow. That was a nice feeling, and a nice reminder that I'm not actually a 30 and 40 runner like in Eugene, which is what I felt like. And then, yeah, I mean, I don't know if anyone was going to, like those 12:40 guys that ran away with it at the end, like you have to be pretty world class to end up with a medal there. But definitely should have come fourth. Had a lot left at the end.
You were I think, like, noticing as a spectator, you were disconnected at a certain point where it was like, if you were able to hang on for a little bit longer, I think you would have got a sec. Like, you would have smelled it. Like, oh yeah, I can get these guys, because you were coming home so rapidly, but they just had too much distance on you to like get all of them.
Yeah,
you got most of them except for like two of the guys that you should have gotten.
Yeah,
in my opinion, if you were just a little bit, if there was like another person there to keep you connected, I think it would have been like a different race, and you probably would have gotten fourth. But like in general, comparing it to Eugene, like it's an improvement because you felt much more comfortable at 3K. You were able to close hard. So like,
definitely,
yeah, it definitely helps when you're like, okay, like I can reassess.
Yeah, it was just one of those ones where I got to the last 300 and I was like, wow, this is almost over. Like I'm not even very tired. Like, what am I doing?
Better get going.
But I just haven't had that feeling in a while because of how average the last couple have gone. So that was nice. Yeah, it wasn't nothing special, nothing groundbreaking, but
a positive move forward.
Runs on the board.
Yeah.
So yeah, and nice that 13:20 felt, pretty comfortable.
Yeah, no, that's a great takeaway. I mean, if you can feel good doing that, then yeah, you can go in and run a bit quicker when it doesn't feel quite as comfortable again. Get back into that zone, back in the pain cave. But yeah, running actually like real quick. So that's a really nice. Just have that confidence again.
Yeah.
So
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
it was nice after, like, again, watching Olli in the morning before my race and knowing that, he's still fit and that wasn't actually the issue in Eugene. Obviously we knew that wasn't the issue, but just like a reminder that you can still come back from that kind of thing. And I think that was what was nice for Olli too, is that we knew that, we all thought he was good enough to medal in Eugene, but you don't know until you actually do it. And then you end up not doing that and you're like, oh, maybe I wasn't actually good enough to medal.
Maybe I'm just shit.
And then you go when the next one in 3:30, you're like, all right, actually I was good enough to medal.
Yeah.
At Worlds.
It was just, it's just a validation of like, okay.
Even if it doesn't happen,
yeah. But,
so we both made some steps forward. I made a small step. Olli made a giant leap. So
the one thing I do want to talk about, and I know this might annoy some American viewers, but it shouldn't, is the comparison of Birmingham and Eugene, world champs, Comm Games. I think we need to talk about it because we've been able to experience both. And I don't think the energy or like the ambience of Eugene was bad at all, but you just can't compare it to Birmingham. Like Birmingham was incredible. Like particularly the crowds and their engagement with like every athlete too. They engaged with everyone. There was apparently like 15 to 20,000 people still in the stands watching the walking and all the events for the HEP and the decathlon. They were clapping, they were involved, they were doing the wave. Like it was pretty incredible what they were able to like just have that kind of ambience for the athletes.
Did you hear the crowd when the guy in my race finished the last couple of laps, like the Fijian guy?
Yeah, Solomon Islands. Yeah. So this guy is in 17 minutes or something, but like they just went off.
The stadium was so loud. The whole stadium was on their feet for this guy running like 17 minutes. Looked hard.
Damn,
looks really hard.
Awesome.
They did an incredible job, and Eugene just didn't have that. And
they just loved cheering. Apparently, Mum and Dad said you couldn't even hear the stadium announcer.
You couldn't hear Jeff.
It was just that loud.
Yeah,
it was unbelievable.
They just did such a great job, and like I definitely feel like you just can't compare that to like Eugene's world champs. It should be like the top, right? It should be like the most hype, the most engagement, but it's just what you couldn't compare it to Birmingham. Birmingham was just so much better, and people are like, well, why is that the case? Well, I'm looking at it now, like I realize that Birmingham is the second largest city. Well, we're going through it with George. Birmingham is the second largest city in the UK. So like you're going to be able to get a lot of access there. It's easier for accommodation, easier to get in. The tickets were pretty cheap. I think Dathan had 9 sessions for £160. I'm pretty sure one ticket at
He
like
said a couple of days the kids got in for like £8.
$8 or £8, sorry. But like, I'm pretty sure like that £160 for the entire time he was there would cost like maybe one morning session at Eugene. So that's probably a factor to it, as well as just access into the. It's just a lot easier to get there to the stadium, and just yeah, I think that's the one thing that like Worlds needs is it needs to be in a big city, because if you want to have all these people come in,
And just like random people, not
yeah,
just Eugene, you end up with mostly just track nerds.
Mostly track people that like love it and like will be there for every session, which is fantastic. But I guess
you always need some of them,
yeah.
But you also need like your Joe average people.
You want your Joe average people
that just think, oh yeah, night of sport. I don't even know what's happening, but
yeah. And I think Comm Games kind of provided that, because it's like Commonwealth Games having everything going on, people know it's on. They're like, oh, let's go to the athletics. Probably helped with that too. So like, I don't know if like World Champs is going to be in Budapest, right, in 23. So that's a pretty big city. I feel like there's going to be pretty good engagement there.
Hopefully pretty cheap.
Yeah. And I feel like
Hungary is cheap, I think.
I feel like World Athletics could look at Birmingham and this like a really huge success. I thought Birmingham was a massive success for athletics and pretty much most sports. They could probably look at that and say like, what could we do to help that success rate at World Athletics? Because like, if you have running royalty like Sydney McLaughlin breaking world records and like all these amazing runners coming in like Yakov and stuff, surely you're going to be able to get like a massive crowd for them. You know, like it is possible. You just have to, I guess, have the right elements to be able to make it accessible.
Yeah, America's really weird for that, because I mean, obviously we know why it was in Eugene. Like Eugene has the history and it's got the big Nike money, so that's why it was there. But you're totally right that it doesn't actually make sense if you're talking about getting in the general population, the normal people. And it seems like they didn't even really try, because one thing that I didn't think about that some athletes here said to me is they were surprised that America didn't just put on more of a show just generally. Because if you're from somewhere else and you think about America, you think big, you think like a lot of money, you think crazy stuff. And that just wasn't there at Eugene. They had the flyovers of the planes, the jet planes, happened some of the nights, but apart from that, it was just like not much. You know what I mean? Like it was just like it's just a track meet.
Someone said that at Birmingham, they had like way more just like normal sports game like stuff happening in the stadium, like fireworks and like someone hyping up the crowd all the time and getting like chance going. I don't know, just random stadium stuff to get.
They were able to like get the events back to back in like an appropriate time too. Like it wasn't too much wait between each event, which I thought was good too. I thought they were able to get that. There was no gap. There was no waiting. Like people just went, okay, next and then next. And yeah, if there was anything in between, they'd have something engaging with the crowd, which I thought was great. And that's probably something they'll probably try and implement at Worlds in Budapest.
Yeah. Yeah, Budapest will be interesting. I really don't know much about Hungary, except that I'm 1/4 Hungarian. Shout out to Hungary. Hopefully I make that world champs and I'm coming home.
Do you have a passport for it?
Home crowd favorite.
I wish I did. I got to learn my Hungarian first, but yeah, Comm Games is just so different to Worlds, because people actually know that it exists in the countries that it does exist. Whereas people in no country know that World Champs exists, if you think about it. Like people in America didn't know that World Champs was happening.
I couldn't believe the messages I got at Worlds compared to Comm Games. Like for all of us athletes, like we obviously know that Worlds is a bigger deal.
100%.
Such a big disconnect.
Like, 1 or 2 texts or something from home. Like no one, World Champ, no, never heard of that. Oh, you're running Comm Games? Oh, sick. Like everyone's texting me from home. Like,
everyone's watching.
I get like a million messages, and I'm not gonna tell them that. I'm not gonna tell them that the big meet was actually 2 weeks ago. I'm gonna just go along with it. Like, it's pretty sweet.
And dude, they're just stoked that you're there. They're stoked that you're representing the country. They don't even care, because when I raced the Comm Games, I was injured and I raced pretty average, and no one really gave a fuck. Like obviously if I had medaled, that would have been amazing and that would have been something totally different, but people there just acknowledged the fact that you made it to there, which, you know, at World Champs people obviously know it's a big deal, but it's not the same. Comm Games is so much more pride in representing your country, I would say, at least compared to World Champs. You know, it's just so much like more history there.
I felt way more part of the New Zealand team at Comm Games. Like I felt like a New Zealander again.
Yeah.
Like with
Community was
the
good, yeah.
like the ceremony to like get welcomed into the village and the haka and
It's pretty sick.
yeah, I felt like it was like a good reminder. Shit, yeah, okay. New Zealand, forgot about that.
That's what the Olympics like does well too, and like comms is like the village with all these different events and different sports. You like appreciate each other and like their attributes and like what they've done to get there, which is great. Whereas world champs, like it's kind of much more low key because you just know everyone pretty intimately and like it's much more chill. There's not like a village really. You're just in a hotel or in this case for Eugene, a dorm. But I feel like the village stuff and like that aspect of it, I thought it was really good. I thought it was like cool to be a part of that community because like we're obviously living in the States, so it's nice to be able to go and enjoy, your nation's kind of, I don't know, just being a bit proud of your nation.
Yeah, that was
nice.
the other thing that I wanted to bring up is that why this is so huge for you in particular, Ollie, is because one thing that we've noted in the past, I don't know if we've directly talked about it on the podcast, but Australia sports has kind of ignored Ollie in terms of how amazing he is, because you have people that are based in Australia like Stuart McSween and Peter Ball, and obviously like they're absolutely amazing athletes and they deserve the praise and the attention. But then you've had Ollie over in America racing on a very similar level to them for a couple of years now, to be honest, and you just don't get the attention. And so I think for you, like this is gonna be so huge because now I'm sure like every time you go back to race or whatever, it's gonna be like I think once you've made it at that level, then like you're there for the rest of your career, and the Australian public is gonna, they just know your name. They're just gonna keep talking about you.
They can't keep ignoring me. Yeah. No, that's the plan. That's good then. I can
took a Comm Games gold, but we got there.
It took
got there in the end.
It took a Commonwealth Games gold medal, and 64 years later, being able to do it. So
yeah, but yeah, it was so what happened for the rest of the night after George's race? You guys go to the some after party or get wild?
I think I went. Oh yeah, I went out with Rowan, high school, Bud. Just like
Ollie got rid of some brain cells. I think.
Yeah, I got rid of some brain cells.
Did you bring your medal?
I had 2 nights. The thing is, I had 2 nights to have like a decent fun time because Geordie left the next day and I pushed my flight back. So I was like, oh, okay, I can have like another nice night because like a lot of the rest of the athletics team was finishing. And it was pretty funny because we were like, okay, we got to wear casual gear. We don't want people to know that we're Australian and like we'll keep it on the down low. So when after like Pete medaled, he got second in the 800. We're like, okay, let's go out. Let's get changed and then we'll go out and have a good time. So we grabbed a few beers, just hanging out. And then we went to this bar where everyone else is going to be, like most of the sprinting team and stuff. And we went there and the whole New Zealand team in their New Zealand kit were just there, absolutely shit-faced, dancing to all this music, not giving a fuck. Like they were just loving it. And they're like all the Aussies it's just Aussies and New Zealanders in this one bar. It's going nuts. And it was so much fun. That was a lot of fun. They were playing some pretty good bangers too. They played 303, that band 303.
Yeah.
What's that song? Like it's like Black Dress.
Don't Touch Me.
Yeah. They played that song, and me and Curtis Marshall and Rowan were just like having whiskeys and just jumping around with the crowd. It was like really fun.
Ollie, do you know why? I don't know if maybe you, George. Do you guys know why they're called 303?
Oh, but they're from Boulder, aren't they?
Yeah, that's the area code for Boulder. They're from Boulder.
Yeah.
That's
pretty wild.
Dope.
Yeah,
that is pretty dope. Well, there you go. Like I was celebrating with the Australians and New Zealanders, but then there was a Colorado band playing in the background. Pretty good, full circle there.
How about that?
But
you didn't wear your medal, or you did?
He was incognito.
No, I didn't bring my medal. I had my medal like after the presentation. I went to grab a beer, and I thought I might be able to get a freebie at the stadium, but didn't happen. And then I was like, oh well, I don't want to lose my medal if I lose brain cells. That's the only thing I want to lose is my brain cells, not my medal. So I just left it at the place, and because I think Pete left his there as well. But yeah, it was just really fun to be able to celebrate with those guys, like because you just don't get to do that. Particularly after COVID, it hasn't been like much time to like just go out and like have a good time and enjoy each other's company and celebrate Commonwealth Games, and we got to do that, so it was really fun.
Yeah, No, that's amazing. Can I ask you guys this kind of random live update? Is the 3K happening right now on the TV at Monaco?
We keep looking at it,
We're
unfortunately.
6 minutes in. I can't.
It looks like Awagawi's in the lead right now.
Tanner looked great at the front.
Tanner did look
fantastic pacemaking by recent 3:31.
3:31 guy that got sixth.
Just became second fastest New Zealander of all time.
Really?
Yeah. Just past John Walker. So shout out Tanner. Just
legendary.
He made it look like a mile and a little bit, like 1,800. I think you mean.
Yeah. We're giving so the Monaco Diamond League is happening right now for anyone who's watching, and Sage just ran 157. Did you guys see that?
Yeah, I saw that. We were trying not to react to it because I was like, holy shit.
It's pretty damn good.
She was second, right? 157.
Yeah. Grant's in fourth now.
Yeah, dude. The results are coming up on my TV. Grant just ran. I can't spoil it. I'm not spoiling it.
We're watching it right now.
Don't fight. You're trying to spoil it.
I didn't spoil it.
Grant's gonna run something messed up. I can't. Where's Clicks Mix?
I can't see.
They're just showing Aragawi. Oh, he's about to get past though.
Aragawi looks like he's tiring.
We got that on, dude.
Where is he?
They just ran 7:28. He's in he wasn't like third. Oh, Grant.
Good old Dominic. Did you see what the pacing was for this race? They were 3:39 through 1,500. This is the craziest pacing I've ever seen.
7:27 for Grant?
Oh, I think that was the on, dude.
7:28.
7:28. That's fucking quick.
That's an American record.
Really?
Wait, really?
Yeah.
Damn, you're right. It was 7:29, right? From Leggett?
Yeah.
Wait, what did Joe run?
Joe must have died a little bit. He was back at 7:39.
Looked like right behind Woody.
And then
Woody, then Joe.
What about Stewie McSwain?
Wait, was he?
Stewie was 7:43. But he's coming off being sick as well, isn't he?
Really? He couldn't get out of bed.
He couldn't get out of bed. He was really sick. So
but not COVID.
I was impressed. He actually turned up to the line. That would have been...
Yeah.
Wow.
What place was Clicks Mix? Did he get points?
He was in 9th place, so it's top 8. He's top 8?
Top 8 points.
Top 8 gets points.
He must have...
Wait, no. Yeah, it seems like he gets points for some reason.
Oh, really? Oh, that's good. Maybe
I might be reading this wrong.
Yeah, that's tough going out on that kind of pace.
Yeah, we'll have to see what he's ran. He went through so quick. But yeah, I feel like we can kind of start to wrap this up now. It's like well past my bedtime. Actually, I haven't even had dinner yet. I need to go have dinner.
You go have dinner. We'll let you go have dinner. But any update for Morgs for the fans? How's training going and everything?
Dude, I've been feeling pretty shit, but I think in like a good way, like a good training camp shit where like you feel shit for like 2 weeks and then you start feeling really good and you go race well. So I've had a couple of sessions down in Italy, down at Chiavenna, which has been absolutely lovely. Still just hanging out here in St Moritz, waiting for the rest of the team and the boys to join me. So it's been good. Best place in the world to train. So no complaints here. Olli, how was being reunited with Gus?
Dude, do you want to hear something funny? Just a Gus update for everyone. I get home at like 2:30 in the morning. I had a pretty terrible flight situation on the way back because I couldn't get much else without paying like $9,000 to change a flight. But I got back in and Gus is like, yay, Dad's home like a little bit. And then I went downstairs. He went downstairs with me. I'm thinking, he's going to cuddle up in bed with me. Same old, same old. He went and slept under the table, ignored me, slept there. And then this morning I go up to him and he's like, oh, good morning, buddy. And then he just ignored me again, walked straight to the door and was waiting for me to let him out. Just giving me the cold shoulder, like straight away.
Gus has morals.
Gus just gives me the cold shoulder. Yeah, he's not happy with me, so I got to earn back his love, apparently.
Did you put the gold medal around his neck yet? That might do it the trick.
Maybe that might do it, yeah. He might chew on it.
Yeah.
That should do the trick.
Actually, his wrists are fat enough. He could probably fit the Longies watch. So put the watch on his wrist.
Yeah.
The Longies watch. So,
but,
do that.
Yeah, well, I hope
that's
you...
it, yeah. That's the update. Sorry.
Yeah. No, you're good. As I said,
episode 47.
I'm heading to dinner. That's episode 47 for the boys. Great job, guys. Comm Games champion. A legend is born. Yada yada yada. We'll see you guys next week. Thanks for listening.
And shout out to Coffee Club gaining like a couple of followers from Comms. I think
wait. Final question that I want to ask you, Olli. How did your Instagram stats go based on winning Comm Games?
Not as good as I thought, honestly. Not
as good as
I thought. I think I was at I think I gained like maybe 3,000 followers.
What?
But
That shocks me.
yeah, I
I
thought
thought
after
you were gonna.
comms I was gonna. Yeah, I
I
thought it
thought
was
you'd
gonna
be at
blow
like
up.
60K right now.
That's what I thought would happen, but yeah, only 20. I think I had 25K. It's still pretty good.
All right,
But
gotta win the Olympics, I guess.
It's young brothers.
It's no Rowan Browning, because I think Rowan like got 60K followers in like
A
space
day
of like
in Tokyo,
a day
right?
after Tokyo winning the final. So, but
Damn.
maybe it's just a gradual build for Ollie, or maybe people just realize that if they want to follow me, they follow me on Coffee Club. So
Well,
there we go.
Shout out to that. All right,
Shout out
well,
to Coffee
thanks,
Club.
boys.
All right, cheers. Have a good dinner.
Night more.
Thank
Night,
you.
Morgie.
See you guys.